You are live.
Live. Hey, what up? What's going on? What's going on, people? Thanks for coming in, joining us today. Me and Stead, we are two parts of the Freedmen's Collective. Here on this beautiful Saturday in East Side of Detroit. Thanks, Stead, for coming out.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Got to be able to celebrate. Man.
Yeah, definitely. So my son's birthday was on Monday, and we celebrated today on the holiday when everyone has time to be off. So we just wanted to come by real quick and just kick us some things to you all that's been on our minds, and we didn't want to wait till the next show to kind of let some of that out. So as many of you know, Bill Cosby is now free. His sentence was vacated by the PA Supreme Court, and it's been quite controversial. Controversial. What's your opinions about that, Steve?
I mean, to me, Tim Black, he's another YouTuber. I'm sure a lot of people already know.
Yeah.
And he put on his show. He did a little thing about it. He said either we had an innocent man in jail for 2 years,
right,
or we just let a guilty man go free.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's really the best way to put it. And to give it some extra context, we live in a country that is built off of oppression of black people.
Right.
So what we have seen historically, when you look at Rosewood, when you look at somewhere else specifically I was going to mention, but you look at Emmett Till.
Right.
What you look at is, I mean, countless instances of white mob violence, vigilante justice, because black men are accused of doing certain things that either they didn't do at all,
right,
or that someone else had done, mostly a white man had done, or was a consensual act.
Right.
And when time comes, the white woman feels guilty. Just like, remember in Connecticut, the football players in Connecticut, where the chick, she let some dudes run a train on her in the bathroom at a party, and then when a guy that she liked found out about it, or it came up, she didn't want to seem like a slut to him. He was a white guy, so these guys raped me.
Right.
And so, I mean, this is what you see here, and the only reason I put it in those terms is not because I know that Bill Cosby didn't do anything, but it's precisely because the only two people that know what happened are Bill Cosby and this woman.
Right.
And nobody else does know what went on.
Nobody does.
And so we have a situation where we're relying on her word, and this whole Me Too, believe the woman. Black men have lived under believe the woman. Right. Emmett Till died under believe women.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Under
so
right.
We black men have lived in Me Too. Right.
That's nothing new for us.
Right.
That's not a new standard of just coming up, just coming out or whatever. Believe a woman, or I in this case believe a white woman, right? That's caused us death. And so the kickback or the pushback that you get is like, well, I mean, he was accused by like 60-something people. So 60-something people I mean, how could that be possible that he's not guilty of something? Where you have the saying, man, where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, my pushback to that is, so have all the white mobs, that were going and accusing black men of doing things, right, that terrorize, whole cities and towns and many lynchings or what have you. All of those people, were being accused by multiple people, right? That believe that. So, just because you have the amount of the accusers doesn't make a non-truth a truth, right? And so, and my thing is also is that so there's another key point that gets brought up a lot is that, okay, well, he admitted to it. You know what I mean? He admitted to it in a deposition. Okay. So let's leave it back, reverse it a little bit more. Why is Bill Cosby out of prison? Like, how did it happen? What's the technicalities of what occurred? How is it possible? So technically, okay, he was let out due to the fact that he appealed his lawyers, and he had the money enough to be able to afford his lawyers to appeal this case all the way up to the Supreme Court. So it went through, I'm assuming it had to go through many different levels of appellate, probably at least two courts.
Right.
Generally at least two lower, two, at least at the minimum one, right? But again, I don't know Pennsylvania's system or their appellate system, but I'm pretty for sure it's probably had to go at least through one set of appellate courts, if not even two, before it lands in the big house, which would be the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. So let's get this. Let's let everybody be clear. It's the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, not the U.S. Supreme Court. But that's an option. Right. That is an option because if the DA office of Pennsylvania, they can actually appeal to the Supreme Court, but the likelihood of the U.S. Supreme Court will probably not pick up the case. You know, it's not of that type of importance or precedence to where the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court, people appeal court cases all the way up to the Supreme Court all the time, and they don't get the Supreme Court can choose to take whatever cases they want. Many don't ever get heard. So it's heard. So ultimately, the PA said, hey, so when Bill Cosby was going through a civil case with the victim or the alleged victim, I'm sorry,
and give context for that.
Right.
Like why? Well, I'll do it.
Go ahead.
So the reason that they pursued a civil case against Bill Cosby is because there was no evidence. The woman waited a year before she came to report this crime. So there was no physical evidence, no nothing but he said, she said.
Right.
And so what the prosecutor said is, you don't really have enough evidence to make a case. You probably won't get a conviction. Let's pursue this from a civil standpoint. He won't be able to plead the fifth. He'll have to be deposed or testify in some capacity. And so that's what we'll do. And that's what they pursued. And she was awarded $3 million. But what happens in the course of this deposition is he admits to providing either Benadryl or some type of
he admitted so one, they were asking him questions about Quaaludes, right? So had he ever been subscribed with Quaaludes with the purposes of using those Quaaludes for sexual purposes? And he said yes, right? Very clear. Especially you got to put this in context, right? So a lot of people take that statement as him admitting to drugging women against their will. Okay. Now, if you look at it at the time, I read an article and it was stating like at the time Quaaludes were like prevalent to take, just no different than like taking ecstasy that is today, right, or taking Molly or taking any of those type of party drugs, right? Like that was part of the culture to do so. So he had acquired it and legally at that point, because a lot of people, we know X is not even legal at all. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of drugs aren't legal. People are taking. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have such an opioid and heroin epidemic in this country, because of the both prescribed and unprescribed addiction and abuse. Right. But in this case, it was legal at that time to take Quaaludes. And this was what it was used for. And so, he was, according to him, hey, this is what the people, that's what they wanted. So, hey, you're going to have some women over. They ask them, this be no different from if you have right, or Xanax, or it'll be no different from like, hey, you got some girls coming over to the house, whatever. Hey, make sure we got the liquor, make sure we got the weed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know how many times freaking I've had, women like, hey, you got some liquor, you got some weed over there? You know what I'm saying?
Even like, remember that song Drake had with the I Love McCona, club going up in here?
Going up on two,
he said, I got Zans in the Advil bottle. I don't take them shits, but you do. But I let you know,
that this is exactly. So is Drake a rapist?
Right.
Is this rape culture? But that's what they try to say though.
This was your summer song.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean?
So this is what we have to look at.
Right.
And the lines have been blurred. And what this does is it has disproportionately affected black men negatively, because we've never had a leg to stand under the justice system. Harvey Weinstein, did he get out for coronavirus from going to prison every night?
I don't know. I don't know.
Been sent to prison yet?
Yeah, exactly. I have to look into it. But see how quiet that is.
Right, and you look at
how quiet that is.
Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, now, he got sentenced in like 07 or 06,
right,
for raping children, and basically he got like a work release. And I'm not trying to argue that Bill Cosby, if he actually is wrong, or if he actually has done this, that he should be free to go because white men are going free.
No.
What I'm saying is nobody knows.
Right.
And so now you take a chick, the one who comes to mind for me is Janice Dickinson. That's the one.
Mm.
But you take this washed up model, right? Mm-hmm. Trying to cling to any relevance she can. Of course she's gonna jump on the bandwagon. And what's her name? Paula, not Paula. What's her name, bro? The lawyer. the lady lawyer from California, Gloria Allred.
Gloria Allred, yeah.
So she's trying to get all these. Yeah, we're going to take Bill Cosby out. But what does her daughter do? What does Gloria Allred do? They got leaked messages between her and Joe Biden campaign. We'll help you squash the Tara Reid rape allegation. So these people don't have any kind of moral character,
no
right?
Scruples.
They don't have none. Unscrupulous.
No scruples. Because how would that? Let's make sure we get the importance of this, right? So Gloria Allred, right? Her daughter, right? You know what I mean? Was representing Harvey Weinstein, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's obvious that they would do they're perfectly okay with not believing or be defending someone against these type of allegations.
100%.
But they'll put it on the public, and they'll go on the public and try to get us to say, no, all women should be believed.
Right.
You okay? And was it Gloria Allred or her daughter that was trying to leak messages to Biden?
Well, the leak messages show that her daughter was helping the Biden campaign with the Tara Reid situation.
Right.
And this is even like you said with Alyssa Milano. She took Me Too out of her Twitter bio. That was all she was doing lately. And when Joe Biden got accused of rape, no longer believe women. You only believe women when it's somebody I don't like.
Right, exactly.
You only believe women when it's somebody I got an axe to grind with.
Exactly.
When it's somebody who I like, somebody who it's no big deal. It's just, well, Trump was a rapist, so if Joe Biden is a rapist, at least we got a rapist with better policies. And this is an actual tweet somebody put up. If we get a chance to edit this video later, I'll try to find the tweet and put it up. But the chick said that, well, Trump is a racist and Biden's a rapist, not racist, a rapist.
Right.
So at least we got the rapist with better policies. And this is the kind of logic. So that I'm supposed to believe that this system that's built on my oppression and oppression of men who look like me is going to be fair in this instance. And what's the thing they said? Why did they come after Bill Cosby? What's the rumor? They came after Bill Cosby because
the rumor was that he was going to buy NBC. That was the rumor. That he was going to buy NBC, a national television station that's affiliated and syndicated all throughout the country. That would have been a game changer for a black man to own it. We all know what Byron Allen is going through, and
his channel was cable.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Even you look at the majority of black, all black media is cable, which is to say that it's an extra subscription on top of
something.
Well, what you get if you buy NBC, that's it.
That's it. Yeah,
everybody get NBC.
Exactly.
That's a basic station. And so what type of programming, what type of influence would a station like MSNBC have for black people if you have one of the legacy media networks in America? We only got 6 media networks now because they've consolidated so much from Bill Clinton. And so what happens if Bill Cosby is able to own a legacy media outlet like that? What does that do for the opportunities for black people to get their voices out, to get their messages out, and to change the narrative? And this is the thing a lot of people don't know. Some people forget, but Bill Cosby has a very strong activist history. And again, if we edit this video and put some stuff in, we'll try to link to some of those videos. But Bill Cosby has you look at the Cosby kids and Fat Albert. He has a legacy of trying to do positive things for the black community. And I just say that he haven't done some things that I would consider out of touch because he's an older man and
more because you may be leaning more toward a conservative, respectability politics. Because he comes from that era, right? We don't by no means are the Freedmen's Collective condoning everything. Cosby's has said or done on their political position. But at the end of the day, it's just we see the contrast, right, from Trump, from Biden, from all these other accusers. Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
You know what I mean? Yeah, how many accusers did he have?
Juanita Broderick wrote a book, right? She testified that Hillary Clinton damn near broke her hand, shaking her hand to let her know, basically, she know what happened between her and Bill. And you have this misguided anger from Hillary Clinton that Juanita Broderick, your husband is a rapist. It's not her fault. And so this is what we see here. You're expecting us to believe that a system built up to destroy us, people who look like us, is telling the truth now. And we're not trying to defend Bill Cosby for his actions or his deeds if he did what he did. But at the end of the day, I wasn't there. You weren't there. He wasn't there. The only two people that were there have conflicting testimonies.
But even more so than that, man, let's not even talk about like you said, we're not judging whether he did or he didn't. But ultimately what the Supreme Court basically, because they are not judge, they didn't judge whether he was innocent or guilty. That his sentence was vacated. He could still be charged again if the prosecutor so wanted to do so. But what they said was that, hey, they didn't follow the rules on how they were supposed to do this. Your persecution and your trial against Mr. Cosby or Bill Cosby was not within the letter of the law, and so by that fact, then they found it to be unjust and prejudicial, and then the sentence was vacated. Okay, so it had nothing to do about his innocence or his guilt or his guiltiness. So going back to the civil case, right? So there was a civil case that occurred between the alleged victim and Bill Cosby, and so under the deal was with the previous prosecutor was that him doing this deposition. I keep getting it wrong. Deposition. Yeah. His deposition, and basically all that is that you're willing to be interviewed and what you say be put on the record.
Like in lieu of a courtroom. Interviewed by lawyers.
Right, but yeah, exactly. And it's which could later then be used against you in the court of law. So it was agreed that this would stay within the confines of the civil case, and that it wouldn't have any, it would be sealed, right, any implications, and would be then it would be sealed inside of that and couldn't be used in a criminal case if there ever were one. There was a new prosecutor that ended up being elected, I'm assuming, because that's how prosecutors get, DAs become elected. And they made a differing decision, and they got a judge to unseal it because they had to bring this before the court. So he was charged criminally, and they also were able to get a judge to unseal the deposition.
And allow testimony for 5 other women.
Right. 5 other women that
was against
the letter of the law, right? Exactly, or a good precedent to allow victims that it would be different if he had been convicted. If he had been convicted for those other crimes, then it might have relevancy. It might have been relevant, right? And it could have been, and an emotion probably would have gone back and forth in regards to that. But these women, these were alleged. Right, so you're really talking about hearsay, okay? So the matter and the tactics in which they went about the actual conviction, the Supreme Court said no, this wasn't right, and that's why he was released. And so one of the few times, and that we could sit up here and say that hey, the court, the prosecution side played it dirty. And it actually got called out on the carpet for the dirtiness, and somebody got exonerated. I won't say exonerated. They got they were released as a result of that. And and you got to play it by the law. You can't go. The law's supposed to be the law regardless. You know what I'm saying? So these are the rules. These are the rules. Point blank.
And that's the situation. When you really sit down, and this is not to try to downplay if any of these women had actually, suffered sexual assault from Bill Cosby at all. But this is the problem. And this is the problem with Me Too and this whole believe women. Right. Women lie as much as anybody else. It's not like women have some divine innate ability to tell the truth, or that their moral compass is so ordered that it points toward justice or righteousness or correct.
Well, what's the saying, Stan? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. You know what I mean? For real.
And I mean, that's the simple fact. It's not like women don't have the capacity to lie. Everybody will do whatever they can do to the best of their ability to do it. That's what you have to understand. That's what the show has shown you. That's what, when we have talked about the CIA, the FBI, and how they have attacked the Black community, how they've attacked Black freedom fighters, this is what we're talking about. And so now all of a sudden, like I just said, Gloria Allred's daughter is trying to help Bill Clinton and Harvey Weinstein to cover up their rape. But Gloria Allred ain't calling her daughter out saying, well, my daughter's a slime ball or a piece of shit.
Right.
And, believe women. Right. It don't see the light of day. But now it's Bill Cosby, and suddenly a black man in America in the 60s raped any white women at all against their will, because it's rape, right? Had sexual contact with white women, and they were so afraid of his power that they didn't tell nobody. Right. Come on, bro.
And as he's being followed by and watched by the Nixon's FBI on top of that. You know what I mean? Come on, it just seems when you check it against this common sense, it reaches the level of reasonable doubt, right? And to be convicted is supposed to be beyond reasonable doubt. So that's so for us, this man should have never even ever been convicted, because again, it's too much. It's too many wiggle rooms. It's not,
You have cops killing black people in broad daylight on camera. And we can't get a conviction. And you want to convict a man who was accused of raping somebody, and the only two people that was witnesses are the two people involved. What is we dealing with? And this is all I'm saying. If Bill Cosby is a serial rapist, one, he's a mastermind. Two, the criminal justice system is just completely inept. Or three, these women liked it. That's the only way you can look at it. Because how do you have a black man in America in the 60s who had any type of power? They killed King. They killed X. They was battling the Black Panthers. You think they was scared?
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Come on, because he was on I Spy.
Yeah. Because J.
Edgar Hoover had the mob in Mississippi killing Klansmen. You think he was scared of Bill Cosby? Come on, bro. That don't make sense.
It's preponderous on further review. But like I said, we are true freedmen, and we are free. We are descendants of those who were freed, and we also, our minds are free from general convention and the status quo and groupthink. This channel is not progressive. Is not conservative. We are reparationists, and we are all for people having a free mind.
Our allegiance is to truth and justice. That's where our allegiance is.
Right.
Okay. And like we said, I'm not saying Bill Cosby. See, you got me with the slip of the tongue because it's so easy to make that mistake.
Right.
But I'm not saying Bill Cosby's innocent.
Right.
I'm not saying he didn't do whatever he was accused of doing. What I'm saying is,
the evidence doesn't prove that doesn't reach the level of standard.
Right. The expression is, that's how the cookie crumbles.
Right.
And so sometimes, and predators do this, so it's not like it's unheard of. When you, for whatever reason, don't report a problem in a timely manner, it's not going to be able to be dealt with in a reasonable way. And we cannot come back and try to retcon justice or retcon policy to try to get one guy. We can't do it. It don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. If you waited a year to tell people that you were raped and you don't have any physical evidence, what are we going to do?
Right.
What are we going to do? Now, do we need to teach people, if they're victims, to embolden people to stand up and to speak to authorities or whatever? Yes. But we also have to understand, like what I said, historical context. Even in modern times, you see instances where white women have accused black children of doing things they were not doing. The woman in New York said the little black boy touched her butt, and all he had was a backpack, and he turned around and grazed her, and she called the police on like a 9-year-old. And I'm supposed to believe that in the 60s, Bill Cosby was raping white women, and nobody told. Emmett Till got lied on and got put in the ground. George Stinney, the youngest person in America to be put to death, 14 years old in South Carolina, was accused of murdering an 8-year-old and 3-year-old white girls in South Carolina. George Stinney. He's on the cover of Dr. Tommy Curry's book, Man Not. That's his mugshot. He was 14 years old and given the electric chair. And then years like in 2019, I believe they came to the South Carolina's state house or whoever or legislature. They overturned his conviction, And what fucking good does that do? 50 years, 90 years later, you've been dead. What good does that do? You killed a 14-year-old baby for a lie. They didn't even investigate it. For a lie, he got put to death. And I'm supposed to trust this country? I'm supposed to trust this mass media? Because you say, that's you know, he's such a criminal mastermind. Bill Cosby? Come on, bro. And I ain't saying he might not have been giving women pills. Yeah. But like we just said, Drake made a song about it. Drake made a song about it. Yeah. Definitely. And so 2 cups, I got to drink, all these different songs. What's the other song by Percocet? Yeah, Molly Percocet. Come on, man. So they all rapists. All your favorites is rapists. That's what it means. So everybody was trying to clown Mike Pence because Mike Pence don't go nowhere without his wife. Well, he ain't been accused of raping nobody neither, so all your favorites is rapists then. From Future to Drake to the Migos to whoever. They're all rapists. That's all. That's all it is then. So you have a problem with your own taste, and you trying to take it on everybody else because we all got good taste, and we don't mess with rapists like that. That's what you're trying to tell us. You know, there's deeper levels to all of this. I encourage everybody to just look into the facts, because in the deposition, Bill Cosby never says, I give these women pills against their consent. Right. He never says, I did this against their will. Right. And as much as it don't like to be talked about personal responsibility, I had a chick on Twitter one time, right, and I said, you know, I said rape is wrong, period. Yeah. Rape is wrong. I said, but there is a level of personal responsibility that we all have to have with our actions, right, and where we are. She said, oh, you just accuse women of rape, whatever. Black woman, yeah, you think to blame me, you terrible, this and that. You a rape apologist, some shit she said. Right. So she was from Chicago. So this was like perfect. Right. Perfect. And, you know, I don't know where, sometimes my brain just is firing on all cylinders. It don't happen often, but when it do, you know, I just thank my lucky stars. But I said to her, okay. I said, if nobody have any personal responsibility for nothing that happens to them, right, I said, you in Chicago, go wear Gangster Disciple colors in the Vice Lord neighborhood and tell me what happened. Or go wear Latin Kings colors in the Gangster Disciple neighborhood and tell me what happened. Right. And she didn't say nothing else. Because if you wearing the wrong color, I remember, man, I went to Chicago, dog, I was in high school. And I had Converse on. Just regular Converse, bro. Just Chuck Taylors. And they told me, I was in a school program, and said, oh, you can't wear them where we going because they got a star on it. And that's, I don't even remember what game. I said, are you serious? I said, they can't tell that I ain't over here? He said, oh, no, they don't know you wearing the wrong colors. You'll get in trouble over here. I had to change my shoes, bro. And I could have said, no, I would go over here. I don't care. But what? If I would have got lit up, as bad as it would have been for them to do it, shame on me for not heeding the warnings. And so we want to have it 2 ways. We want to act like, well, men should rape, thus they don't rape. Crime shouldn't happen, so thus it don't happen. We have to whatever degree possible, we have a responsibility. And that don't mean people don't do things outside of the scope of what we can protect against. But we to whatever it is. So what's the context of Bill Cosby then? Don't go over his house. Don't go over his house. He could be giving you the greatest advice ever. Money-making ideas. But if the cost is that you got to give him more than you can, don't go. That's it. Don't go. Sometimes like Hollywood Shuffle. You ever seen Hollywood Shuffle? Robert Townsend Booth? Yeah. Remember the whole thing, he wanted to be an actor and they want him to do all these black stereotypes. Right. And then in the end of the movie, he's like, man, I'm just gonna work at the post office. At least I can have some self-respect. Right. And that's how you gotta look at it. You might not be famous. Right. You might not get to be no millionaire. It might be a bar that's too high, right, for you to hit. But you can still do something with dignity and respect. Right. But that's the problem. You don't want to do what I do for a living. You don't want to do what he do for a living. Right? And have bills and have debts, right, and have stuff come up that we can't really afford to address, and we have to figure out how to make stuff work. You don't want to do that. You want to live high on the hog. Everything have a price. This is a gospel song. This lady, her name is Ella Baylor, just a gospel singer. She used to sing like disco music back in the day, and she ended up making gospel. And she talked about her story in one of her albums. And she talked about how she used to get coke and stuff, and they would give it to her for free and all this. Right, and she said, how many of y'all know it wasn't for free? Right. And that's what it is. It ain't for free, man. None of this stuff is free. Everybody who done made it and done something you didn't want to do. And it don't have to be illegal. It don't have to be immoral. But it's something you didn't want to do. And you didn't, well, maybe it was waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning and stand outside for 6 hours for a 15-minute interview. 7 days a week, right? Maybe it's going to the gym for 4 hours a day. Maybe it's sleeping in the car, right? Maybe it's sleeping in the bus, but you didn't want to do it. And that's fine. Learn to have respect in what you have. But you can't play the game and then get mad if it don't work out. That's not how it works. This is not a defense of Bill Cosby. But we know the system is corrupt. And if you want to play the game, you can't get upset that it don't go your way.
Right.
And you can't try to change the rules after the fact. And when there's only 2 people involved and they're the only 2 witnesses, and we don't have no third-party witness at all, no tape, no confession, what we got? What we got? We got Rosewood. That's what we got. Where they massacred a whole black community in Florida because a white lady said she was raped.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, right?
That's what we got. We got them guys that went to that college in Connecticut who got accused of rape. Even them Duke lacrosse players. Remember them? That stripper or whatever accused him of rape.
That was a black girl, though.
Yeah. Well, so I guess they don't fit their narrative.
Right. Yeah.
They don't fit their narrative because it was all white dudes.
And they were able to get out of it.
Eventually, right? Yeah, they eventually got out of it.
Yeah, they got
because she admitted she was like. Even what's the guy's name? He went to Cal Poly. He was supposed to go to USC. He ended up going to jail for like 14 years.
Was that Brian Banks? Brian Banks.
I think so. High school football player. Him and the chick he went to high school with had a consensual sexual interaction. She told that he raped her. He got a full ride to go to USC. He was one of the best football players in the nation. And this was when USC was winning national championships. And then come back later, he hit her up online on Facebook. Man, why'd you lie on me and say I raped you? She come up, well, my mom told me to do it so I could sue the school district. So you putting this black man behind bars. So you can get a payoff.
Right.
Fuck his life. Fuck his future.
Right. Exactly.
Fuck his dreams. Exactly. You want to pay off. And did the woman go to jail after the fact?
No.
She admitted it. It was caught on. It was either between Facebook Messenger and he ended up getting it videotaped. Did she go to jail? No. She didn't go to jail.
Well, I mean, prime example, go back to Emmett Till. The lady that accused him of whistling at her. Whistle. Now, it wasn't even sexual assault, but just whistle. Okay, and he was killed. Later, both her brother and husband was exonerated for it. Well, you couldn't use double jeopardy, and they admitted. They actually came on after they were found not guilty. They went into they were interviewed in a magazine, and they said, "Yeah, we killed him," and they couldn't do anything. We couldn't do anything, and also. Yeah, she's still alive, and she's admitted that was a lie. Yeah, even the whistle was a lie.
She admitted it was a total fabrication.
Yeah, total fabrication. And she's still alive, living some, you know what I'm saying, living the old age and everything. And, you know,
even like remember that movie, that Tyler Perry movie, Daddy's Girl?
Yeah.
Where that movie Daddy's Girl, where the guy that's what happened to him. He was in college or some shit. He was an athlete, and some white chicks accused him of rape, and they kind of derailed his whole life. He ended up being a janitor and shit. Yeah. That stuff is based off real life. That's not some fantasy, man. Anybody made this up. This is real. This happens to black people. This happens to black men. You get accused of doing stuff you didn't do. And because you don't have either the legal system, so your public defender is so overworked, he's not really trying to build you a case. He's telling you to just take a plea deal. You don't have money for a lawyer, you don't have any kind of adequate direction. It's FU, man. You know, even like Stevie Wonder is one of my favorite artists, and he got a song "Living for the City." And so in the end, you know, in like the bridge of the song, it's like a little skit where he go and give the guy just get off the bus from like the country,
right? And
he in New York and everything. And this guy say, "Hey man, go sell this bag of weed." Running across the street, so he running across the street. The police put him in jail 15 years. He come out, and then that's when the end of the song come out. He say, his hair is long, his feet are hard and gritty. He spends his life walking the streets of New York City because now you stuck there. You can't get no job. They ain't hiring you now. You blackballed now, black man. Unless you want to go back to jail, you ain't getting employed nowhere.
Right.
And so this is how the system continues itself. Right. You continue. Black men are the fuel for the economic engine of America. Right. That's who we are. You completely lock us out of participating in American life, except those few of us who make it through. I'm not, I can't speak for Gerard.
Right.
I'm not special.
Right.
I done some dumb shit in my life.
Right.
Now, I ain't saying it's necessarily illegal, but it's dumb enough that people have gone to jail for it. It's dumb enough that people have gone to jail. It's dumb enough that people have suffered consequences for it. And so by the sheer grace of God, I'm here.
Yeah.
I ain't never been in jail. I've never had any serious issues with the law.
I have, man. Most of it's around domestic violence, dude. And like almost in every case, it was like shit that I didn't do, or it was just like, like misunderstanding, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll give an example, actually, so what happened, my ex that I had, me and her, we weren't faithful to each other, right? So that was toxic right there to begin with. So it was always like, she's trying to catch me, I'm trying to catch her, you know what I'm saying? So I had bought these cell phones. I had these Metro PCS cell phones, you know what I'm saying? And I had bought, I had gotten like a family plan or whatever, or I had got 2 of them. So both of the phones were my phones, right? So she had went, I had fallen asleep, you know what I'm saying? She went and got the phone and what have you. And I don't know, she went through my phone. She actually broke my phone, the one that was mine. So in turn, in reaction, I'm like, okay, both of these phones are mine because I'm paying for them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, the one that I gave her, I'm like, I'm gonna break yours since you broke mine. You know what I'm saying? So, again, fair was fair. So I'm trying to get her a phone, and we struggling. You know what I mean? She's trying to get it out my hand. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? So her kids, she had kids at the time. So the kids got like upset because they're hearing us, going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? In the bedroom. So they run outside. The neighbor calls the police. So you know what I'm saying? So afterwards, we actually like chopped it up and was like, we was laughing, we both was really kind of being silly at the end of the day. So everything, all hostilities had kind of had ended. And so then, the police show up, knock on the door, right? Because the neighbor had called the police. Right, exactly. So, I explained my story, what happened and everything, and because it was never a matter of me like, I had to grab her or anything. Like, literally, she's fighting me. She's trying to get to me. You know what I'm saying? To get the phone away from, you know what I mean? Because I was going to break it. So, she was like, I don't know exactly what she said to him, but she claimed that, you know what I'm saying? She didn't say anything like, that was incriminating or whatever. I still got locked the fuck up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
This video, this cop in Georgia, he supposedly like trained to notice people who were on drugs or whatever. Yeah. So he didn't had a couple people where he just said they was on weed because he had the certification, like it carries all this weight. So he look at you in your eyes, with your tongue and shit, and it's supposed to be 12 things he look at, but he only look at like 3 or 4. And he be like, well, I think you're lying. You're intoxicated. You're under the influence of marijuana. These people don't smoke. They take drug tests and everything. And what do you always say in the video? Can I borrow your arm right quick? And he borrowed that arm and put that cuff on it. And so that's what they did. Excuse me, mister. Can I borrow your arm right quick? Yeah, you up out of here. Here you are thinking you just having a friendly conversation. You and her laughing. Right. Can I borrow your arm right quick? Exactly. Yeah, what you need to borrow my arm for? Yeah. Oh, right. So that's what it is. I mean, I mean, like domestic court, family court, bro. And that's not even a black and white issue. But white men are even starting to see. Family court is a trap, bro. Yeah. That's a beast. And so we have a system. The capitalist system in America is built off of consumption, man. And what do you consume when you don't have any resources left? You consume your people. You consume your people. Yeah.
You notice, like going even back to Ferguson, to make it even more, more concrete for what he says, meaning consuming your people. So when these Republicans came, these Republican legislatures, when they started, especially all throughout the 90s and the 2000s, a lot of them were getting in trying to, cut taxes, right? Cut taxes, cut it. You cut it so much, but you still need services. And so what makes up the gap is the prosecution of the people. All these fines, all these tickets, all of this and that to get you caught up. You know what I mean? It becomes like, in Florida, they're real bad with it. They got robo tickets. Oh, really? Yeah, you run the red light. Oh, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? At an intersection, or you make a right turn or something. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Then they'll take a flashlight. Ain't gonna be no cop there. They take a flash. They'll whoop the camera, take a picture of of your whatchamacallit, your license plate, and send you your damn ticket in the mail. You know what I'm saying? And there was a couple of times it was like, wait up, like it happened to me a few times. And I'm like, no, I thought I was turning the right, you know what I mean? Like, I thought I had the right to turn, right on red or whatever. Oh, I got hit up in Troy. I'm sorry, no, Royal Oak like that, right? They'll put the sign up. Normally you can make a right on red unless it's otherwise posted. Unless it's otherwise posted, right? So they real slick over there. You get off 696. Right, going on the main street, okay, and there's a, you know what I'm saying, and the sign is kind of like obscuring it. If you come up to it, and it was at night, so I didn't see it. You know what I mean? And it's a sign, and so I was past the sign, and I remember I saw the cops. These cops actually made a U-turn. I watched them make a U-turn, and then I made it right. Okay, I made it right, and then I'm like, they were like, position, because they were in this lane, and I'm like here. So, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, I know they're just gonna pull me over just because I felt it. Sure enough, they pulled me over, right? You know what I mean? And I'm thinking it's just because, hey, you're a nigga in Royal Oak, you know what I mean? Yeah, 10 o'clock at night or whatever, right? So anyway, so he was like, I pulled you over. I'm like, no. He was like, you made it right on red. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how the hell did you know I made it right on red? I saw you make a fucking U-turn. You know what I'm saying? From my vantage point, you see what I'm saying? So like, let's listen to the street, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I see them do the U-turn. I'm looking at them before I make it right. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking like, anyways, I ain't say nothing for it. He called himself doing me a favor by dropping it down to something. $250. Yeah, exactly. No point. Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what it ended up being.
That's the same thing we talking about. Yeah. You charge me $250. Well, we'll do you a favor and make it, failure to yield.
Right.
And that's a $500 ticket, but no points. But what I actually did, which is if you say I ran a red light or turn on red, that's $50 and 2 points. You see, but that's because you're eating your people. It's like in Ferguson, they're giving people tickets for jaywalking, bro. Yeah. You eating your people,
right?
And this is why the whole thing with the budget and all this don't make sense, because stuff costs. Unless you about to get rid of the military, which they not, unless you about to close down these government offices and these government entities, like Rick Perry. Remember he was talking about he was gonna if he was president, he'd get rid of the Department of Energy, and then Trump ended up making him Secretary of Energy. But
right.
Unless you're getting rid of massive government organizations, government entities, government arms of the government, right, you have whatever you have has a cost. And so if the budget is supposed to be $100 and you cut the taxes, which is the revenue stream,
right,
to cover the budget,
right,
where are you gonna make up the difference? Because the difference has to be made up. Stuff has a cost. You're gonna get it from your people. And black men were brought over here first. So black women weren't brought over here at first because there was no need. Black men were brought over here to work. That's what we was brought over here for. We were brought over here to work. That's it.
Slavery ended, no longer became that essential to the system, and they just use us in other ways.
Yeah. So now, big leasing,
right,
putting us in jail and using the mass incarceration, the same thing.
To employ poor whites.
Right.
That's all that is to me.
Right.
To employ another system.
Right. You look at like Wisconsin and stuff, where like 5 of the major black cities or black areas in Wisconsin is prison.
Right.
You got these far out rural white communities where they're getting increase in population for their census because of the jail is in there.
Right.
And they get increased revenue from taxes because the jail is in there.
And they get people employed because hey, you gotta be a corrections officer or whatever.
Yeah.
And
so at the end of the day, we have to understand this through the lens of history and how this process isn't new. It's not like we just conspiracy theories. I don't have the tinfoil cookie today.
Yeah,
my Morehouse Maroon Tiger Sky. Because my wife graduated from Spelman, and she's upset that they took Bill Cosby's wife's name off the arts building, the Camille Hanks Cosby Arts Building on Spelman's campus. Because even if he did do this, what does that have to do with her?
Yeah.
She was a graduate of Spelman College. I went to Morehouse for a year, so I got a real love-hate relationship with Morehouse. But my wife graduated from Spelman, man. Camille Hanks Cosby graduated from Spelman. Donated plenty of money to that place. You still got Spelman name on it. John Rockefeller, he wasn't racist. He didn't benefit from slavery. You still got his wife made name on it. Right?
Hey, here's my question. Did they get that money back?
That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
you giving the money back?
Yeah, you're giving the money back. So you're taking the name back. Yeah, exactly. You know, get out of here.
But that's what I'm saying. You want to take Camille Hanks Cosby's name off the building. But you still got the school called Spelman.
Right.
Rockefeller made his money through the slave trade. All these companies made their money from slavery, either because of the cheap labor in the South or from some ancillary process, some subsidiary process to what was going on in the South, the exploitation in the South, man.
Yeah, there was a lot of northern insurances.
Yeah, textiles, all of this.
All of this. A lot of it. So it was a full, it was, they always try to make it out like it was just a Southern entity or Southern institution. It was an American institution because it benefited everyone in the country, both in the North and the South, in various different ways.
It touched everybody. And that kind of brings us to our next one. We want to talk about reparations.
Yeah, man. So had interesting, very, 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 very interesting encounters. Because there were multiple in YouTube, man. I kind of got my YouTube cred, man, my bona fides, you know what I'm saying? Recently, I was battling in the chat rooms. So this past Friday, Dr. Jared Ball with Black Power Media was hosting a show, and the topic was the myth of black buying power, the myth of the black buying power, which we are in total alignment in that case, and so I wanted, of course, this is something that's near and dear to the Freedmen, because I think a lot of times, we've been furnished this illusion of a black buying power. If we just used our black buying power in the right ways, then we could, gain our what was it? Our self reparations.
Yeah, some shit, man.
I've heard people say, I'm like, what self reparations? Like, are you serious? But no. That was an argument that was presented in a debate, actually, that Naheem Elway was in with the Pan-Africanist, saying that we can get our own self-reparations. And I'm like, self-reparations?
Hey, you in what army?
Yeah,
I'm gonna make shirts. I got the design already made. It goes like Freedmancollective. You in what army?
Right.
Everybody act like they just gonna walk down the street and they go with the system of white dominance is just gonna give you justice. Here you go. We've been stepping on your neck for the past 400 years, but since you asked so nicely, here you go. You in what army?
And so the basis of that strategy or argument is that we have a black buying power. But if you take that out and really examine and really see that we don't have a black buying power that would level or equal what would be needed to be in the supply chain, right? The higher levels of production, So to me, I give this analogy. Black buying power is like you being able to afford to eat at McDonald's and then thinking that you can own a franchise because you're able to buy at McDonald's. Good. You know what I'm saying? Like I eat at McDonald's, so if I just didn't buy my Big Mac and I just save the money, I can own my own franchise. Like what? Well, you know how much money you need to have saved up to own a franchise. Exactly. But that's the equivalent of the argument that's always being presented, is that we're just not spending our money in the right way. No, we're spending our money just to survive. That's what it costs. We live in the richest country in America. In the world. The richest country in the world, the most costly country. I would say that it's rich to those who are at the top. But we're living in a country that costs the most to live in the world. Okay, so most of what you see as our buying power is just us buying the necessary goods and services that are needed to live. And many of us, as we all know, can't afford that. You know what I mean? Then to turn around and then to turn around and say, well, if you just didn't buy this and buy that, then you can open your own business. If you didn't buy Jordans,
that Jay-Z and I didn't listen to the album, but I heard about it. Oh, if you go to the strip club and you invest in the stocks, man, shut the fuck up, dog.
I'm talking about buying back the Bach and all this other shit.
What you gonna buy? Fractional stocks?
Right.
You gonna take $40 to buy 1/16 of an ETF? Come on, bro. Shut up. Take your $250 and buy Jordan because you can't buy shit else with it. You put it under your mattress, you'll get the same results.
Yeah.
At least you got an appreciable asset. If you leave it in the box in a year, maybe somebody will buy it for $500.
Yeah, you might actually get a return on investment.
And the big thing too with the reparations conversation, which we've heard a lot from people. Right. Well, you're just going to be propping up the capitalist system. So fucking what? You work, don't you?
Right.
Don't you buy food? Don't you pay bills?
Right.
Don't you buy clothes?
Right.
Don't you pay for goods and services? That's upholding the capitalist system. I don't see you saying, well, you know what, this is just keeping the capitalists taken care of, so I'm gonna quit my job and just live on the street or live off the land.
Right.
What kind of logic does that make for a person to say, because your justice can't be perfect, it ain't worth you having?
Right. Ridiculous. And so this is what was being so the topic was definitely within the alignment of the Freedmen Collective and the Freedmen reparationist agenda, at least on the truth of that blacks don't really have a black buying power. But when you put a pan-Africanist communist slant to this, it becomes quite, absurd and fantastical, right? So, when I go into chat, and Dr. Jared Ball is like, hey, black people don't have any real money. And I'm like, yeah, so the solution should be to give black people money, reparations. And I'm getting attacked immediately because
you just want to be one of those black bourgeois. Exactly. Like, bro, black wealth is trending towards $0. Yeah. This is about survival.
Right.
Well, how do you propose? Because he hit me up. He said, "Hey man, I need you to help me join in." So you know me, I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody to tell me twice to get in no fights.
We out here in these YouTube streets.
So I said, well, how do you propose? I said, you put in safeguards, you put in mechanisms so that the black wealth that you just gotten from reparations don't just go back to the hands of white people.
Exactly.
Right? And how did you do that? I said, well, look, man. I said here in the middle of a chat on the spur of the moment, I don't know how. I said, but if you give me time and collaboration, I guarantee you, I'll come up with some ideas. You know what I'm saying? Well, and that's the problem. Because I don't have an idea, mean it's not a good idea. I don't have the path to do it. Yeah. I don't know how to go from A to B, but I know it needs to be done, mean it shouldn't be done.
And their argument is that because the money will go back into a corrupt system, you shouldn't be giving the money.
Right.
Like, it's just like, what are you talking about?
And that's what businesses, that's what they tell the NBA and the NFL when they try to get more raises. That's what they tell companies when they try to unionize.
Right.
Oh, you don't want to spend your money that way. Or if I give you a raise, you're just gonna get that money back. You're just gonna put that money, you're just gonna blow that money. That's your right. Even now, we are not advocating people to be frivolous with their money.
Right.
If we ever were able to win this fight for reparation, don't be frivolous with your money. Don't do the stupid shit with it. But even if you did, that's your right as an individual, as a free person. That's your right.
Right.
Nobody tells that to all the celebrities who rich and famous, who done blew all their money and getting bailout after bailout or whatever. Live your life.
Right. We shouldn't say, hey, we shouldn't hire what's who played Robbie Downey Jr. because he was a crackhead.
Right.
He's gonna give back his money. You know what I'm saying? So no, don't hire him. You know what I'm saying? Don't hire him for the next movie, or don't pay him for the next movie, or pay him for what he did in Iron Man and all the Avenger movies or whatever, because he's gonna smoke it up anyway. Right. And buy a bunch of hookers.
I remember being a kid, man. Him and Daryl Strawberry, two of the crackheads in rehab.
I know, right?
I remember as a kid. Robert Downey Jr. and Daryl Strawberry, bro.
Yeah.
They was in rehab. Daryl Strawberry's in rehab a lot. Robert Downey Jr. is in rehab a lot. And it's the thing. Those same arguments that you make against giving black people reparations because it upholds a corrupt system is the same kind of statement you can make about not freeing black people from slavery in the first place.
Right.
Well, you don't know how to enjoy it. And I mean, they are the same arguments.
Yeah,
black people don't know how to enjoy freedom.
They don't know what to do with it.
Right. So we need to keep them enslaved because it's for their own good. So you need to keep me suffering. Black wealth is trending towards $0.
Right.
Understand what that means? Goose egg. And this motherfucker in the chat talking about, well, we could go back to a bartering system. I said, okay. Now, I don't shop at Walmart. I haven't shopped at Walmart since John Crawford III was murdered. in Ohio.
Oh yeah,
because they never did anything for him. But I don't shop at Walmart either because they don't have a union. They treat their employees horribly. So I haven't shopped at Walmart probably near 10 years. However, I know that for the most part, a lot of people can't do that. We have Meijer here. We have Kroger here. Meijer is a family-owned union grocery store that's really only in like 5 or 7 states. I think they expanded to Kentucky now. But, I mean, Meijer is only in certain places. So I go to Meijer. I'll go to Kroger. You know, I'll go to Whole Foods. Well, not Whole, you know, Whole Foods. They got their own issues. I mean, Amazon and everything. But, yeah, I do Aldi. That's why those are my big three. Aldi, Costco, also union. I don't go to Sam's Club. Costco Union. Costco Union. And Costco got a great, I mean, we're not endorsed by Costco, but they got a great return policy. If you buy something from Costco, you don't like it. Like I bought a pair of, I haven't used them yet, but I bought a pair of stainless steel cookware. And if for any reason I'm not satisfied with it, I can bring it back. No receipt, nothing. But Costco Union, Aldi treats their employees good. It's a German company, and Meijer's Union. So I go to those, but I said, so you gonna go to Walmart? Because I know most mom and pop stores have been put out of business by Walmart. I said, so you gonna go to Walmart and barter? You gonna go to Home Depot and barter? You gonna go to Wall Street and barter for land to grow? So she's talking about building and all this barter shit. Well, I don't have to. This motherfucker gonna say, I don't shop at Walmart. Well, that's you atypical. We understand how powerful Walmart is. You're atypical.
I shop at Walmart.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't make this a moral judgment on you. It is what it is. I can't look at your pocket. You might have to shop at Walmart. I don't, and I don't. You know, I don't even. You know, that's me. I'm not trying to make any kind of moral. But yeah, no moral judgment. Everybody got to carry their struggle how they can. And so, he said, yeah, and I don't shop at Walmart, and I'll use the tools that I got passed down to me. Like I know a lot of people. Motherfucker, what do you mean you're going to use passed down tools? How is this even a conversation I'm having with grown adults in 2021 on Al Gore's internet? You know what I'm saying? How is this what I'm talking about? Bro, how it's 40 million freedmen, descendants of freedmen in America. You going to have us all bartering? You going to have us all bartering using hand-me-down tools? That's how we live in a post-industrial nation. And you gonna have us surviving in a fucking commune with hand-me-down hand tools. I'm sitting here using a hand-powered grill. Come on. But this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Oh, capitalism is terrible. Capitalism is terrible. I'm not even gonna try to deny that. But what we have to understand, is that it's the system that we live in, right? And then the crazy part is in the same video, we'll celebrate 100 years of the Chinese Communist Party. How did that Chinese Communist Party survive? They embraced capitalism.
That's how they're the most powerful, second largest economy, and one of
really creeping up.
Yeah, exactly.
They understood.
They don't surpass us.
Yeah, they understood. They couldn't sit here and try to be a self-contained, isolationist nation and expect to have any type of say-so in geopolitical matters. That's what they understood. So they had to embrace capitalism, even if it means externally and to a large degree internally, because what they're trying to do is to create a socialist state, right? Xi Jinping last year or the year before laid out his framework that eventually China will become a multi-party socialist nation. Because they was going to talk about, I don't like the two-party system. But you praising a unitary party system. I mean, America really is a unitary party. He's like the first president of not Burkina Faso or something, but it was somewhere in Africa. And he said something like, he was talking about America. I got this from Jimmy Dore, but it's actually, he said something like, America is a single party system, just like the rest of the world. But he says, but in typical American extravagance, they got two parties. And that's really what it is. The Democrats and the Republicans are two wings of the same bird. They're two wings of the same bird, the left wing and the right wing, and you need both to fly. You go get me a bird with one wing and we'll see a cooked goose. So that's what it is. They're the same. And so this idea that you're going to praise authoritarian communist China, and no matter what you say, I'm not trying to say that with because I respect Cuba, because I mean you have to be In order to protect your people from external forces, to some degree, you have to embrace some authoritarian. Yeah, you have to. I'm not. I don't live in a bubble. I don't live in a vacuum. I live in the real world, and to that same degree.
And it was hard to add to that because I'm a 23-year Army veteran. Served in the service for 23 years, and the first thing they told me, they said, "Hey, we fight for a democracy, but ain't here. This ain't a democracy. Right. Yeah, this ain't a democracy, homie. You know what I mean? Right. You know, this is not what this is here. And, you're gonna get dictated down, shit. Right. And you got to follow rules and so on and so forth. So,
and that's the thing. Yeah. We live in a country that prides itself on capitalism, but you have every time you turn around, socialism for the rich. Right. During this pandemic, within 2 days, the federal government made available between $5 and $7 trillion to banks in Wall Street. Right. And they had a rolling ledger of $1 trillion a day for those same entities. And all you got was a $1,200 check, a $600 check, and a what was the other one? Because it was like 1,800 or something. 14, I think. I can't. It was so insignificant. I can't remember.
I didn't get in there.
It was so insignificant. I don't remember.
I don't make it. I make too much money to get anything.
And I mean, even with that, they talking about, we're gonna give you the child tax credit ahead of time. But say, Freedmancollective telling you this. This is we give you some affirmative advice. Save your money, because at the end of the year, they're deducting that early tax credit that you're getting through the year from your taxes at the end of the year. So if you were supposed to pay it, you might not pay, but you might not get nowhere near what you was expecting. Yeah, because you're getting that child tax credit. They're pushing it forward. They're giving you $300 a month. So it's going to equal out to be for a child under 6 or 6 and under, it's like 3,600 or 3,000, and then for a child older, it might be 36. But they're not giving you new money. They're not giving you extra money. They're giving you your money sooner. It's a cash advance.
Right. It's a cash advance.
Just like all cash advances, you got to pay it back.
Yep, you got to pay it back. But yeah, man. So, I don't want to stay on here too much longer, man. This was a pop-up. I think we hit a lot of good topics and relevant topics. In the day.
Necessary.
Yeah, reparations is always necessary. It's the only means, man, at this point. Had we been back in Reconstruction, had we even
made right when the ground floor of America entering the industrial age, we'd be having a different conversation.
Had we been included in when they were, in the GI Bill and post World War II, we had been included, and redlining wasn't in effect. And all the other, Jim Crow and all these other things have been lifted at that point, even as I'm saying, as late as the 50s, right? The late 40s, 50s. Had we truly have been an open society at that point in time, we would be talking about something different right now.
Then $20,000 checks like the Japanese got might be sufficient.
Right.
Right. But what you can't do, and this is the Freedmancollective stands for freedom and justice. Right. That's it. No, we don't push ideology. We push truth, freedom, and justice. Right. Those three concepts are the principal pillars of our. It's a triangle. Right. It's the principles of our organization: truth, justice, freedom. Right. You can't be so ideological that you head ass and you got your head up your own ass and you don't realize it. Black people shouldn't get reparations because it's good. The money just ain't what.
Gonna funnel back into the white society. That's what they say. It's gonna funnel back.
Justice shouldn't be had because you can't control every external factor that pertains to you in your life. Right. That's what it says.
Right. That's an authoritarian, paternalistic point of view.
If that's your perspective,
it was basically you holding me from getting because what Stedman might do, or vice versa. Like, what does that have to do with it?
If that's your position, your argument should be to advocate that for education, advocate for policies, for protections for Black people, so that the money can't be taken in predatory ways.
Right.
That's what you should do.
Right. One of the suggestions that they lined the fireworks up early. Another suggestion, Dr. Sandy Darity suggested, was that instead of you may get a trust, you might get instead of like actual cash, you get something like a trust that disperses the money out at a certain at intervals and rates, so you wouldn't be allowed to just lose it all in one day or a short period of time.
And even one of the things I advocate for, and this might sound ridiculous to a lot of people, but that's because they don't have an investment in justice. I think black people should be given an industry in America that they monopolize completely. Freedmen. Give us an industry that we monopolize, whether it's agriculture, whether it's hospitality, whatever it is. Give us monopoly control of that industry. And that's one way, a mechanism that you could ensure that we don't go broke.
I think ultimately at the end of the day, that should be part of we should do a show on what could reparations look like, how should it be implemented. For me, I feel the reparations has to have the reconstruction or the renewing of the Freedmen's Bureau. It could be like the Department of the Freedmen Affairs, just like you have with the Native Americans. Like we need to have a federal agency that is all about tracking, tracking scientifically what's happening to Black America all across America, and be charged into fixing it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that may also, in my opinion, part of that could be, like you said, getting Black, and I would say not one industry, but multiple agencies. I feel like that agency, right? I feel that agency, that agency should be like, okay, look, this is what we're going to do. So for farming, defense, you have at least one or two companies, you know what I'm saying, that is allowed to be formed with, government backing, you know what I'm saying, as far as their contracts, and also like their insurance, just like with the VA, right? So with the VA loan, okay, you don't get, the government isn't giving you money, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Now in this case, I don't think they should, but ultimately the VA is guaranteeing that your loan, which makes it easier as a veteran to get a home loan, because you're getting because I'm saying in the case that this fails, right? In the case I default, then the issuer of the loan will be guaranteed to get their money back because the federal government's going to pay for that. On that instance. Well, what you could do is that it could be the Department of Freedmen Affairs, right? They are actually in charge of creating, let's say, like I said, maybe one or two companies, you know what I'm saying, in each major industry, because we were held back from doing that organically, and the game is too late to try to, try have it organically done, through business cycles, right? You know what I mean?
Like I've said, if you look at the trajectory of life in America as a race, Black Americans, the sons of freedmen, have been locked out of the race, the process, right? We have been locked out of that. So now reparations can't look like participation in the process, because some people have finished the race. Bill Gates has finished the race. Jeff Bezos has finished the race. Elon Musk has finished the race. The Rockefeller family have finished the race. Anderson Cooper's people, the Vanderbilts, they finished the race. The Fords, they finished the race. You can't give me the race as reparations. You got to get me the finish line. I need the prize money. I need the trophy. See what I'm saying? I need the money. I don't need the ability to make money. Just give me the money. I don't need the middleman now. I did that for 400 years free. My people have done that for 400 years. And so, that's it. That's what we're talking about. We hope that, that this was impactful. We hope to be able to do more of these pop-ups and, some kind of configuration of the four of us or all four of us, however that can work out. We're trying something new. We want to try to implement a lot of different stuff. We've got a lot of major improvements we want to make to the program. So, it's a process with us. We're trying to get freer and freer every day. We don't have no corporate backing, no sponsorship. We don't have a Patreon. We don't have a, OnlyFans is getting rid of that adult model, so we don't have an OnlyFans yet. Right, exactly. We don't have OnlyFans yet. So right now we just doing
no super chat.
Nothing. We couldn't even go live on YouTube because we don't have 1,000 subscribers. So we really are at the grassroots, ground floor level, and we hope you build with us. We build it. We hope you build it with us. We hope you like our content. We hope you share our content, and we hope you leave us comments. And if you find any news stories, any interesting topics you'd like us to talk about, and when normal shows, we're doing a show Tuesday. Call in if you like the content. If you mad at us for talking about Bill Cosby, just call in and yell.
We want to hear. We want to hear from the people, man.
I mean, if you got a compelling argument, it's not just garbage. It's not just trying to guilt trip. I want to hear it. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell us where we're wrong. We hope to build we hope to expand the consciousness of everybody who touches our work, because we want to free people. We the freedmen. We want people to be free. Yeah. We want our people to be free. We want everybody to be free. We want justice, truth, and what did I say? That was real good. Now I forgot.
Justice, truth,
liberty. Freedom. Liberty. Same thing.
No, you said justice, truth, and freedom. Those are the three.
And that's all right. That's all right. So I got to write them down now. Yeah. You know? But that's what it is. I mean, that's that's what we hope you come for that. Don't get wrapped up in the well, they said something I hate, so I'm gonna unsubscribe. Because we only got like 50 of y'all. We need every one of y'all. I'm trying to get 1,000.
I think we have 70 something.
Yeah, we want to get to 80 something.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we say something you don't like, let us know. Right. Don't unsubscribe. Call into the show and tell us.
Yeah, we want to
get let us know where we wrong.
Right.
This is a learning process for everybody.
So with that being said, got any ending words, and then I'll kick with mine, and we'll go ahead and let people get back to their weekend.
Yeah, no, man, just again, always question, like RT, you got to question more. Look deeper, man. Look deeper. Don't take the surface. Don't take the face value. Don't take the superficial. If somebody tells you something, find out what their motives are, and try to weigh their motives against their directives. Try to do what's best benefits you and your family and your community.
And I'll end with, as I always mind, is that we have no permanent friends, we have no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. And and reparations are definitely within our interests as a people. So with that, I bid you all good evening, good day.
Okay, peace out.
Peace.